Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be a little bit different and I'm not really sure what I'm calling it yet, but I wanted to focus this video and give some product recommendations on steps in the makeup routine that I feel like we don't hear a lot about when watching makeup tutorials. So I watch a lot of makeup tutorials. I recreate looks off YouTube tutorials all of the time because I don't have a very artistically creative mind, so I love following tutorials. And I feel like it's so often that you hear, oh, I already have my eyes primed, so let's go in with the shadows. And I'm like, well, what eye primer did you use? What's your favorite eye primer? Or you hear, oh, I just popped my lashes on. What eyelash adhesive did you use? So I wanted to focus this video and give a few product recommendations on those types of items. So I'm gonna be talking about some of my favorite eye primers, also some of my favorite lash adhesives and lash tools for applying false lashes. And then I also did want to talk about some eyeliners, specifically eyeliners that I use in my Waterline. I do have a favorite liquid liner that I'll give a recommendation to as well, but even I'm guilty of it. I'll be doing like a get ready with me or something on camera and I'll say, oh, I just put some brown liner in my Waterline, but I don't say what eyeliner or what brand or anything like that. So I thought I could give some eyeliner recommendations as well. So hopefully this video will be helpful if you've ever had these same questions like I have before. Maybe you'll find some product recommendations, but if you would like to see my recommendations for some of these steps, why don't we go ahead and get started. First up, I want to talk about some eyeshadow primers. I have 4 here that I use the most and that I would really recommend. And this, again, it's just a step that I feel like a lot of times when I'm watching tutorials, especially if they're just eye tutorials, you always kind of hear like, oh, my eyes have already been primed, let's start with the shadows. But I really do think that eyeshadow primer is a really important step, and I wish more people would mention the products that they like to use. You can definitely use a concealer as an eye primer as well, but a lot of times I go in with my eyeshadows first. If there's days where I'm just doing like a pretty simple look like this one is, I'll do my face first, and when I do my concealer, I'll bring it up into my eyelid and buff it out. But when I'm doing my eyes first, I tend to do a more traditional eye primer. One of my favorite eye primers, and this guy is only $2. $2. This guy is from e.l.f. and it's called like the Shadow Lock Eyelid Primer. I'll have everything listed down below, of course, but again, it's $2. And you can find it on the Ulta website. And this is what it looks like. This is what the applicator looks like. I really like this because it has a really light, almost kind of like a salmon or peach tone to it. And I realized that I like that with my eyelid primers because sometimes my eyelids can have, just a bit of like redness to them, or you can kind of see some of the veins in there. And I feel like this helps with any like discoloration on my eyelids, kind of takes that away. I really like it for the color with this one, but I just like it in general. I think it's a really nice eyelid primer. And again, for only $2, like, I don't even know why you wouldn't have this in your collection. I think it's fantastic. I can tell mine is almost out, and I would definitely purchase another one for sure. Next up, I have this one here from Urban Decay, and this is the Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This is an original. I know they have quite a few options of these, and I believe they're about $22. I know that you can get mini sizes as well, so if you would want to try it out and see if it would work for you, you could get a mini and see if it does. Again, this is what the applicator looks like, pretty similar to that one from e.l.f., and it's just nice. You can just run it over your eyelid. Again, I do like this one. It says it's a long-lasting eyeshadow base. That's what it says on the back, and I feel like I can notice a difference with this one. There's certain eye primers that I've used that I'm like, I don't know, but with this one, I keep going back to it because I feel like I can definitely tell a difference. This one that I have here is from Pur. This is the Get a Grip Endurance Eyeshadow Primer. This is probably the most different eyeshadow primer that I have ever tried, and once I started trying it, I was like, oh my goodness, this stuff is intense. I would definitely recommend this for, like if you are gonna have your eye makeup on from like 8 in the morning till like midnight, if you're in a wedding, if you're doing makeup for a wedding, graduation, I mean, just when you need your eyeshadow to stay in place all day, I would highly recommend this one. It's called the Get a Grip Eye Primer, and it truly is like the most sticky eyeshadow primer I have ever tried. So it just has a squeeze tube like this that you would squeeze some of the product out of, and you need very little product. Like when I squeeze it so gently, and I just get the smallest bit on my brush and apply it to my eyelid because it really, like, just a small amount goes a really long way. But you can tell as you're as you're spreading it out on your eyelid. It's really sticky and really tacky, and it really holds the eyeshadows there, but I still don't have any sort of issues with like blending the shadows or anything. This one definitely, I feel like your eyeshadows stick around all of the time. So this is a really nice one. I believe it's $20. And this I definitely recommend for days where you need really long lasting eye makeup. The last one I have is one, I kind of debated if I should recommend this one, but I really, really do like it. It's just harder to find, and it is, I think it's the most expensive out of everything I'm talking about. But this is from Manna Kadar. It's the Step 1 Prime. I got it in an Ipsy bag a while back, and once I started using it, I was like, this stuff is freaking bomb. But it's $24, so that's definitely pretty pricey. And I think the only spot that you can get it is on the Manna Kadar website, maybe Amazon. If I can find a link, I'll have it down below. And then you might be able to, if you still do get Ipsy, you might be able to like find it on the Ipsy website. I canceled my Ipsy a while ago, so I don't get it any longer. But this is a really, really good eyeshadow base as well. It's a thicker eye primer, and again, you only need a little bit of it. It helps with the discoloration on the eyelids, and it's also more sticky. It's not quite as intense as the Pur one, but it does give a good kind of tacky base to the eyelid as well, and I just think it performs really well. Again, with these four that I mentioned, there's other eyeshadow primers that I use, and I notice with no matter what eyeshadow palette I'm using, the shadows can kind of fade a little bit quicker or things like that, or they don't stick as well, they don't hold on as well to the eyelid primer, or I still have discoloration peeking throughout the shadows, you know, things like that. All four of these, I feel like my shadows go on really easily. I feel like my eyelids look prepped and ready to go, and I feel like my shadows stick around for a while. So these would be my four favorite eyeshadow primers. So next up, I do want to talk about eyelashes. I know not everybody wears false lashes, but I get a ton of questions about false lashes, especially being what lash adhesive do I use. So I wanted to focus on that for a second here. I just have 3 eyelash adhesives to recommend, and then I do have a tool as well. My all-time favorite lash adhesive brands that I continually go back to and I've been buying for years is Duo. You can find these at the drugstore. You can also find them at Sephora randomly enough. But like I just bought this the other day, and I bought it from my CVS. You can find them at Ulta. They're about $6 or so. The dark one, it comes in a bigger tube, and I've only ever found the clear in a small tube. Does it come in a big tube? I don't know, but like the last one that I just used up with this, also in a small tube. Oh, I don't know. And I like the dark tone and then also the clear. So the dark tone will come out like a really dark gray, and then it will dry dark on the lashes. The clear, this is called clear white. It comes out white, but it will dry down clear. I didn't believe that for like the longest time, but it really does. It does dry down clear. I don't suggest doing just a white eyelash adhesive or white eyelash glue because it will dry white on the eyelids, and unless you have like a white eyeliner on or a white eyeshadow look, it's going to be really noticeable. I go for the dark tone when I have liquid liner on my eyelid because then it blends in with the black easier, because typically I'm using a black liner. It blends in with the black easier, or I can just go over the eyeliner with it. I tend to use the clear white when I'm not wearing a liquid liner on my eyelids. I have no liner on, but I just want to really seamlessly blend in the false lashes with my real lashes. And because this does dry clear, then you can't see any of that adhesive on the eyelids. So these are my all-time favorites. These are both brand new bottles. This one I just bought a little bit ago, and I just finished up my dark tone, and again I just finished up my clear white, and I just bought this at CVS like 4 days ago or something. So these are just my favorite. I continually go back to them, and I would highly recommend Duo. The other one that I would recommend is from House of Lashes, and this is their eyelash adhesive. This one is pretty different. It is a brush style applicator, which sometimes certain lashes do better with a brush versus a squeeze tube, because I didn't show you the Duo ones, but these are both just a squeeze tube like this. So the House of Lashes is a brush with, sometimes it's easier if you have lashes that have an extremely thin band. Like the Morphe lashes, their band is so thin, but it's kind of hard to squeeze adhesive onto it because the band is so thin, the adhesive slides off that band. So that's when I come in with the House of Lashes adhesive, because I can brush it on there and it stays put easier, if that makes sense. But the House of Lashes eyelash adhesive is super, super sticky, and your lashes, they're there. They're not going anywhere, but, which is great, you know, like that's great. You want your lashes to stay there. You don't want your lashes falling off in like the middle of a party or something, but at night, it's still really hard to get your lashes off, and the lash adhesive sticks around on your eyelashes for like 3 days. So there's definitely pros and cons to it. I don't have problems with my eyelashes not sticking when I use the duo, but it's also really easy to get all of the adhesive off, which, yes, like your lashes stick around for a really long time. So again, if it's one of those days where I know I'm gonna be gone for a really long time, I do like to use the House of Lashes lash adhesive, but at the same time I use it pretty sparingly because then I can't get it off of my eyelashes and it drives me crazy. And instead of just being able to peel my lashes off at night, I actually have to put a makeup remover onto a pad and then let it sit on my eye, kind of like how I remove glitter. I let it sit on my eye, sit on my eye, sit on my eye, and then I can finally take the eyelash away. It just takes an extra amount of time when taking my makeup off, but this is still a good eyelash adhesive. I just did want to give the pros and cons to it, but I've been through a couple bottles of the House of Lashes lash glue as well. Again, really good for sticking around, just not so great because then it sticks around again. But those are my 3 favorite eyelash adhesives. For actually applying eyelashes, I recommend using some sort of tool. This one here is from Tarte, and I don't even know what it's called, the Tarte Lash something tool. I don't know. I'll link it down below. It's pretty pricey. I think it's like $24, but this is something that you don't really have to replace. Once you have the tool, you're not going to run out of it, kind of thing. So I don't mind investing more money in it, because once I got this, it really did help. You know, you don't need to only do this one from Tarte, but just really anything that you can find that has this kind of like flat lay right here versus a tweezers. I used to apply my lashes with tweezers, but it's kind of scary because they're typically more pointed at the end, and that can be kind of scary going towards your eyes with them. This one, you can put the lashes flat into the lash applicator and just set it onto your lashes much easier. So I think I've seen like drugstore brands have one of these as well. Just anything that has these flat edges, I highly would recommend, because that's going to make it much easier to apply the lash onto your lashes instead of using a tweezers or using your fingers and kind of getting it like gooped up in there. I recommend having a tool such as this. So I'll have this one linked down below, and if I can find other ones as well that I think are comparable, I will have that in the description box also. But I think having an eyelash tool is so much easier than not having one or using like a really pokey tweezers. I've also broken my lashes with really pointy tweezers. I've grabbed them by the middle and literally snipped the lash right in half because my tweezers were so sharp. So those are a few tips of mine and favorite products for applying false lashes. So next up, I'm just gonna quickly run through my eyeliners. I know this looks like a lot, but it's mostly the same brands, so nothing too crazy. But again, I feel like eyeliners, especially for the waterline, are really overlooked. Maybe that's what I could call this video. I just got this idea last night. I was filming something entirely different this morning, and then I was like, I really want to film that one. I think that sounds like fun. Hopefully some people find this helpful. But again, this is one that I feel like nobody really talks about their waterline eye pencils. I definitely feel like, you know, the eyeliners to make a wing and liquid liners and gel liners and things like that, I feel like those get more attention than just like regular pencil liners for the waterline. But I do it too, and I get frustrated with myself when I realize I'm doing it because I love eyeliner. Eyeliner is kind of one of those things that I've never left my house without. I mean, from all the way back in my college days, I loved my eyeliners. I especially loved blue eyeliner in college. Don't ask me why, but that was my go-to. But I really enjoy eyeliner, so I wanted to give a few of my recommendations. One pencil that I've been using for years and years is from Rimmel, and this is called the, let me tell you, the Exaggerate Waterproof Eyeliner. I have mine in the shade In the Nude, which is just a really nice nude beige eyeliner. And it's actually what I have in my waterline right now. I love having a nude liner on hand because it's something that helps really open up the eyes. Sometimes this is what I like to use in the morning, or when I'm doing a more simple makeup look and I just want my eyes to look really fresh and awake, I will reach for a nude liner. And this one from Rimmel has been in my collection for many, many years. Next one, I actually just mentioned this in my brand recommendations video that I did with my gift card guide video, which I'll have down below. This is from Pur, and this is the On Point eyeliner. One of my favorite liners, hands down. I mean, that's the same with all of these eyeliners, but really this eyeliner I think is really freaking cool and special, and I just like to recommend it as often as I can, and I want to get some more shades for myself. I have the one in brown, which is called Down to Earth, I believe. Yes, Down to Earth. I really like using brown in my waterline because I feel like it's just a little bit softer than a black. Unless I'm doing, you know, a smoky look or a more dramatic look, then I like to use black, but typically I prefer brown in my waterline. This one is really creamy. It doesn't tug at all on the waterline. I hate having to constantly be swiping the pencil back and forth on my waterline. I hate having to like press really hard. I just need something that's creamy and easy to apply, and definitely this Pur one is. But I also really like it because it is self-sharpening, so when you put the cap on, it's not just like a cap, you actually twist it, and when you twist it, it's sharpening the pencil, so you always have an on point eyeliner, which I love about this one. I think it's fantastic. It's $19. You can find these at Ulta as well, and I think they're wonderful. I definitely want some more shades. Next up, I want to recommend some from Urban Decay. I actually mentioned this in my Makeup Monthly fairly recently in my favorite section. I know this is not a newer product, but it's newer-ish to me, and I really like these ones from Urban Decay, the 24/7 Glide On Eyeliners. I have two different ones here. I got this black one in the mini size, I think in like a Sephora Favorites type of set, and I really enjoy it. And then I also got one sent to me, a full size sent to me from Urban Decay in a PR package. So the black is called Perversion, and then the blue that I have is in Deep End, which is a really nice teal. But again, these are really nice, and just like the name suggests, it's a very easy glide on pencil, very creamy, goes on very, very smoothly, and they're also highly pigmented. Both the black and the blue that I've tried have been very pigmented, and they stick around for a very long time, which is awesome. These 24/7 Glide On pencils from Urban Decay, I think they're $20, and I think they're fantastic. One of my absolute favorite eyeliners, and if you've been watching for a while, you probably know that I'm going to talk about the Marc Jacobs HighLiners. I really enjoy these. They're some of my favorite eyeliners, but they're also super pricey at $25 each. I think every time I've bought a Marc Jacobs HighLiner, I've purchased it during a VIP sale because it's just really hard to spend $25 on an eyeliner. I'm someone who loves eyeliner, and I wear eyeliner on a daily freaking basis. Like, you don't catch me without my eyeliner. It's hard to pay $25 for that. So you can see I have quite a few shades here. Some of my favorites, this one in Over, which is a really nice green, and I have green eyes, and I just feel like something with the green and the green liner, I just love it. It's like a forest green, which I think is really beautiful. And then also this is another one that's kind of similar to the Marc Jacobs one, or the Urban Decay one. This is Odyssey, which is a really nice teal. I really do like the highliners. I would recommend them. Again, they're very creamy. They glide on very easily, and they stay. This, I think, might be my longest lasting eyeliner, which is why I absolutely love it. I don't have to worry about touching it up. It's kind of one of those eyeliners that when I do remove my makeup, I kind of have to take a extra second and kind of do one of these and rub the makeup remover on my waterline to actually remove it, because it sticks around for a very long time. So it is pricey, but I do think that they are really quality eyeliners, but I still would suggest getting them at some sort of discount. But I do really enjoy these. The last one I wanted to touch on is a liquid liner. Like I said, I feel like liquid liners and gel liners, they get mentioned more when people do like wing liner tutorials and things like that. But I wanted to mention this one because I definitely don't feel like anybody talks about it, and this is my #1 go-to liquid liner, and it's kind of random, but I love this liner. And when you see me have a wing, I always link my makeup in the description box. You typically always see this one linked out. It's from DHC, and it's their liquid eyeliner. I find these on Amazon. This is at least my second one, if not my third. I have a backup in my drawer. I found this because I got sent some of their skincare ones to review, and they included a few extras in there, and one was this eyeliner pen. And I remember running out of mine and being like, I don't really want to go buy another one, because I hadn't really found like an absolute favorite must-have liquid liner pencil yet. And so I grabbed this one out, and I was like, wait a second, what? This is just my favorite. It's just my favorite, and this is what it looks like. It has a nice sharp point on there. It's super black. It's super easy to apply. It sticks around forever. It's one of those things that makes it so easy for me to do a wing. And this is just my go-to winged liner pencil. So I thought I would mention it because DHC is a K-beauty skincare brand, but they do have makeup products as well. Again, like I said, you can get it from their website, or I have gotten my last eyeliners off of Amazon. It's about $20, but it's my absolute favorite liquid liner, so I thought I would mention that. But those are some of my favorite eyeliners that I would recommend. Alright guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video and some of my favorite overlooked makeup products. I like that I thought of that a little bit earlier. I think that's what I am going to call this video. Maybe, we'll see. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this or found it helpful in some way. Let me know if you feel like there are other kind of these overlooked makeup categories and you would like to see product recommendations from them, because I'd be really happy to do that. Just like I said, I follow YouTube tutorials all the time, and sometimes I can definitely get frustrated when people just skip over certain parts, and I'm like, what's your favorite? What did you use to apply that with? You know, things like that. So let me know if there's any other categories you would like to see. But of course, if you guys did find this video helpful or entertaining in some way, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you will also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video.